Alright, hello and welcome to another Games Perspective video. I'm 3D Spider, and today we are inside of EVE Online to have a quick discussion about industry. This particular video came into being as a result of a forum post over on 3dbuzz.com MMO forums concerning crafting. People were discussing how crafting works in different MMOs, and I figured I'd just quickly create this video to show how it works inside of EVE Online. So basically, industry inside of this game is taking raw materials along with a blueprint, which is basically a recipe for whatever it is you're trying to create, taking those two items to a factory, either player owned or NPC owned, and then using that factory to construct whatever it is you're trying to construct. What can be made? Pretty much everything inside of this game that's used by players, except for some faction and meta objects. But the vast majority of commonly used items are actually produced by players. All of the ship hulls, except for faction ship hulls, and Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3, ships, modules, ammo, all of that kind of stuff is produced by players. The actual materials that are used in that construction, you've got asteroid minerals, which are mined by miners in asteroid belts. You've got moon minerals, which are mined by moon miners in player-owned structures, which are anchored around the moon. And then you've also got salvage from sleepers. Sleeper NPCs are these really tough NPCs found in wormhole space, and they're used in the construction of Tech 3 ships. It actually follows a gradient of difficulty, so Tech 1 is kind of the worst, Tech 2 is good, Tech 3 is the best in terms of the items produced. At the same time, however, Tech 1 is the easiest to gain materials as well as manufacture goods, and Tech 3 is the hardest because sleepers are extremely difficult to kill, and the construction of Tech 3 ships takes a while. So that gradient of difficulty kind of matches the increased capabilities of whatever item you're trying to produce. May as well just get straight into it. We've got a Science and Industry tab over here, which basically shows everything going on in terms of construction. You've got a Jobs tab, which shows any and all jobs going on at the moment. I don't have any going at the moment, unfortunately, so I can't show you that. Corp Blueprints shows all of the blueprints available to you at the time. These are actually located in K3JR. If I just open up the Corp Hangar, I can actually just show you quickly. This is basically where those blueprints are actually located. These are actually individual items which are brought out, but they're basically just sheets of paper, so they don't really take up a huge amount of room. In terms of construction, there are actually two different types of blueprints. You've actually got blueprint copies. This one here is a blueprint copy because it's a slightly lighter blue, and blueprint originals. The difference is blueprint original has a infinite number of licensed production runs, and a blueprint copy actually has a limited number. Blueprint copies are made from blueprint originals. It's kind of like, if a player only needs to construct a very limited number of a certain item, it kind of makes economic sense to only purchase a blueprint copy of that particular item instead of a blueprint original, which is usually quite a lot more than a blueprint copy. This actually leads to kind of a market of its own, where players actually buy a blueprint original and then research it, and then start selling blueprint copies on the market. Just quickly go over here and show you Installations tab. Basically, this first window shows all of the different installations available inside of that region. If I was to select one, say the one that we're in at the moment, it brings up all of the different manufacturing slots available, including any which currently have a job in process. If I was to actually construct something, I would just need to select one of these slots, right-click, Install Job, and then pick whatever blueprint I want, as well as the input and output of the materials required, and the output of the ship or whatever it is I'm constructing. As with anything inside of EVE, it costs money to do this. There's an installation cost as well as a cost per hour. This kind of affects a couple of different things, as well as a time multiplier and material multiplier. Basically, every blueprint has a material level and a productivity level. Material level basically determines the amount of minerals which are wasted, and productivity level determines the amount of time it takes to produce. So a material level of 50 results in a wastage factor of 0.19, whereas a material level of 22 has a wastage factor of 0.43. So obviously it makes sense to get the highest material level possible. Again, that comes down to researching blueprint originals and then making blueprint copies from the blueprint originals. That's basically industry in a nutshell. There are a lot of other topics that can be covered around this. I might just quickly touch on Tech 2 BPOs. Tech 2 BPOs were in the game for a while. They were basically a golden ticket. If you had one, you basically had a license to print money. They were extremely rare, and they basically meant that a very limited number of players had a stranglehold on the Tech 2 market. This was changed with the introduction of Invention. You can actually use, let me just bring this up, Invention to create the Tech 2 variant of a blueprint copy. The Tempest actually has a Tech 2 variant called the Varga, which is a Marauder. Marauder battleship, basically. It's the Tech 2 variant. To create a blueprint copy of a Tech 2 module or ship or whatever, you basically need to invent from a Tech 1 ship, Tech 1 blueprint copy. This requires a certain number of materials and a certain number of skill sets. I don't think I actually mentioned before, anything that's produced, any blueprint copy that you have, or blueprint original, has a materials, bill of materials tab with a manufacturing tab, which shows the skills required for the construction of whatever it is you're trying to construct, and the materials required. If you were to invent this into a Varga, I might just quickly link the Tech 2 variant. You'll note that Tech 2 variant requires a heck of a lot more skills to actually construct, and the materials are quite different as well. In fact, the only Tech 1 material would be morphite. That's the only thing that's actually mined from an asteroid belt. Everything else is constructed through Tech 2 minerals, which are mined from moons. You'll also note that the Tech 1 variant is actually required in the construction of the Tech 2 variant. Basically, a Tempest is used in the construction, and then a Varga basically comes out the other end. The Tech 2 variant does. One other thing I might just quickly cover is the mineral compression. This is actually a trick that's kind of come into being because EVE Online is such a vast universe, and it takes quite a lot of jumps and a lot of time to actually move minerals. People have come up with ways of using mineral compression. Basically, mineral compression and reprocessing of modules to actually move large amounts of minerals. Basically, if you have this is the most common one, 425mm railgun. I'll just quickly auto link that. This particular item has a mineral compression ratio of 1 to 28. Basically, what this means is that for every 50 meters cubed used, the actual cargo hold taken up by this particular module is 50 meters cubed, but it's actually holding 1400 meters cubed worth of minerals. So people construct this particular module, use 1400 meters cubed worth of minerals, then transport the module, and then reprocess the module to get back access to this 1400 meters cubed of minerals. It's kind of a cheating way of reprocessing items. I'll just quickly show you. If you reprocess an item, you basically gain access to all of the original materials used in the construction of the item. There obviously, take a certain amount out based on the standings of the station and other things, but it's a very, very a very good way of moving large amounts of minerals around the universe. It's just a trick I figured I'd just quickly show. I don't think there's anything else to really cover at the moment. Like I said, I could spend an hour talking about this subject, but this is really just an overview of how it works inside of EVE. So yeah, basically raw materials plus a blueprint plus a factory equals the end product. Alright, thank you for watching. This has been 3D Spider, and we'll see you next time.